What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to show you guys what I did for my 600-mile break-in service for the Ninja 500. Break-in service for most bikes are going to be pretty similar to this. Definitely look at your manual or website and follow the correct process for your bike. But if you got a 24 plus Ninja 500, this will be what you do. Disclaimer, I am not a mechanic. If you want this done properly or worry-free, take it to a dealership or a proper shop. But if you're trying to save some money or keep it on a budget, this is how you do it at home. Also, I want to start out by saying I got all this from a website I'm going to link below. When you get done here, go check that out. It's a good resource to have moving forward for the bike. But yeah, let's get into it.
So yeah, we're going to start out by cleaning the chain. I prefer this brand. They make solid product. Also, go ahead and wash your bike, show it some love. So when we get done with this whole process, it's going to be looking nice and mint. Go ahead and get your bike up on some rear stands, use the chain cleaner, wash it with a brush, soap and water, and then relube it. Next, we're going to check the chain tension. The proper tension for this bike is 0.8 inches to 1.2 inches. Mine's a little bit on the looser end here. So the way we can tighten it is removing the cotter pin, loosening the rear axle nut, and then loosening that first rear nut, and then actually tightening the other one, and then we line it up where both those notches on each side match. These are the two size wrenches you'll need to adjust the nuts and ultimately tighten the chain. Once you do get to proper tension, you need to torque down the rear axle nut to spec, and for this bike it is 78 foot-pounds of torque. Next, we're going to check our throttle and be sure it's snapping back into place and not getting stuck anywhere. Along with that, we're going to check our tire pressure. Recommended for this bike is 28 in the front, 32 in the back. I actually like to go down a little bit from that. I'm doing about 26 in the front, 30 in the back. Now we're going to check our engine coolant levels. This can be done by removing this top fairing piece with an Allen key. I had my fairings off for something else. You can see it from the top. I wanted to show you guys. Mine was on the low side by the L, but you want to get to the F. I didn't have any coolant, so I had to go to the dealership and pick some up. Also, I was there, checked out some bikes, and I gotta say, I love the Z900, man. Such a good looking bike. Now for the most important part, the oil change. I got some 10W40. I do recommend using Kawasaki brand oil, because if you don't, I think it voids your warranty. But if you don't have a warranty, don't sweat it. You can probably use any and it'll be fine. Okay, go ahead and loosen your drain plug bolt and get the oil going out. Also, you are going to need to replace the washer, so go ahead and put a new one of those on. Go ahead and remove your old oil filter. If you have an oil filter wrench, it'll help. Grab your new one, go ahead and fill it up with a little bit of oil, put some around the edges. I found it was actually easier to screw in the new oil filter from the other side of the bike. Gives you a clear line of sight because you don't want to get this cross-threaded. Be sure it goes on easy. Now it's time to fill up the bike with the new oil. I used about 2.5 of the containers the kit came with. Once you do get the new oil added, start the bike, let it run for a minute or two and check the levels and adjust accordingly. You definitely want to be closer to the high than low side. Also, I should have added earlier, when you're putting the oil in, be sure it's on the rear stand so everything is level. Lastly, we need to check the clutch free play, be sure that's all good. And turn on the bike and be sure it's got proper idle, which should be around 1300 RPMs, give or take 100. Alright y'all, that wraps up my break-in service. We're going to go on the checklist, be sure we got everything taken care of. Alright, so I'm just on that website I was referring to earlier. So it's the big two things: engine oil replace, oil filter replace, done. Spec the idle speed, like I said, 1300 RPMs, give or take 50 to 100 RPMs. So we inspected the throttle play. We checked the brakes, all that's good, but not as big a deal on the break-in. It even says it here. Brake light works. Check your hoses, no kinks, leaks, anything like that. Check your coolant level, as we did, top that off. Inspect your clutch, look at the free play, check your wheels and tires, all good there. Just check all bolts, nuts, and fasteners, be sure they're tight. And lastly, didn't mention it there, but service your chain, which we did. Got this 600-mile break-in done and it's ready to rip.
Always a good feeling having a new bike broken in. Now I can redline this thing finally.
Overall, the break-in service for this bike is not too hard. Like I said, I'm not a proper mechanic. If you want it done hassle-free, worry-free, definitely take it to a shop. But if you're trying to save some money, I think it's worth diving into and giving it a shot. But if you guys got any tips for the first break-in service or any comments, leave it down below. But that's gonna do it for this one. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch y'all next video.